myself at times. And I know a lot of you guys down in the comment section, damn near every video, hashtag fire Stephanie White has been similarly growing legs too. Now, with that being said, something I've been noticing, shout out to Ben Daniel and Black and White Sports, is that they have been sending smoke signals out to the media world that these ticket sales is looking spooky. Now, somebody told me the other day, well, John, it's only about 1,500 tickets left, So I didn't think nothing of it.
There is a major topic that has been impossible to ignore surrounding the Indiana Fever fanbase this season. The ongoing boycott movement has picked up serious momentum, spreading across platforms and drawing attention from multiple corners of the basketball world. The effect of that pressure appears to be showing up in a very real and measurable way. Ticket prices for upcoming Fever games have been quietly slashed across several ticketing platforms, including pages connected to Pacers Entertainment. During the recent Nigeria exhibition game, the arena looked noticeably sparse. Seats that used to be impossible to come by during the Caitlin Clark era at Iowa, where people reportedly stood in the aisles just to catch a glimpse of her shooting from half court, were going unfilled.
Somebody told me the other day, well, John, it's only about 1,500 tickets left, So I didn't think nothing of it until today, whenever I went on this website right here that I'm about to show y'all, and it looked pretty spooky. Now, you guys can see here to the right here. Let me blow this up for y'all so y'all can see this all the way. Now, to the right here, it says these tickets for section 206, row 17 used to be $74. And now they're $40.
That contrast has not gone unnoticed by fans or media observers tracking the Fever's situation heading into the new season. The sentiment against head coach Stephanie White has been building steadily. The hashtag calling for her removal has gained traction across social media comment sections tied to Fever content. Sports commentators, including voices from outlets like Black and White Sports, have flagged that ticket movement data is sending concerning signals about where demand currently stands. A closer look at available seating data tells the story clearly.
Row 17 used to be $74, and now they're $40. That's damn near a half off price. And that ain't the only section. These tickets right here in the nosebleeds used to be $71. Now they're $47. Mind you, these are like $5 to $20 tickets. These are the nosebleed seats, man. The nosebleeds. And it's just looking bad, bro. Now, any other time we click on this Indiana.
Tickets in section 206, row 17, previously listed at $74, are now being offered at $40, a reduction of nearly half. Nosebleed sections that were priced around $71 have come down to $47. For seats that would typically go for $5 to $20 in most comparable arenas, these prices remain steep, and large portions of the venue appear to still be available with the game just days away. Sections in the 200 level are sitting at $50. Courtside seats are listed at $1,500, with other mid-level sections asking $250, $900, and even $2,300 in some areas.
Now, any other time we click on this Indiana Fever stuff, we see a lot of tickets not being available. You guys see this gray area right here? In this gray area, typically, normally, those gray areas be all over the stadium, where like it's real hard to get a seat. Now the game is this upcoming weekend, but I'm here to tell you, looking at these prices, they want $50 for section 200. Insane. These are like $5 to $10 seats, y'all.
The sheer volume of unsold inventory, combined with the last-minute price cuts, paints a picture of a front office under growing pressure. The prevailing view among observers is that fans are registering their dissatisfaction not just through social media posts, but through purchasing decisions. The combination of frustration directed at the coaching staff and ticket prices approaching NBA-level figures appears to be driving the drop in sales. Separately, National Media Day brought Stephanie White and several Fever players in front of reporters for a scheduled press availability. White addressed the current status of Mobley Allen's, describing her as healthy, in strong physical condition, and performing well during training camp.
$5 to $10 seats, y'all. Any other stadium, $5 to $10. Now, this is a hot commodity right here, this section right here for 184. But what I'm seeing is a lot of tickets is not selling. And part of it has to do, this is just my belief, is the boycott against Stephanie White and these insane ticket prices. They're damn near charging NBA prices, bro. And for the game to be less than a week away, hell.
She noted that when the team needs a stretch big on the floor, Allens will have the opportunity to step into that role. On the offensive side, White outlined her vision for the team's playing style, a fast-paced system built around quick ball movement and player movement, targeting decision windows of half a second to 1 second. She identified over-dribbling as an area that still needs improvement and emphasized the importance of players becoming better screeners and cutters, calling those the small details that create open looks for teammates. Aaliyah Boston, when asked about what it would take for the Fever to become a genuine championship contender, stressed the importance of consistency and focus on a nightly basis.
And for the game to be less than a week away, hell, courtside seats is $1,500, bro, which ain't bad compared to NBA games. I get that, but look at all of these tickets still available, bro. Like, y'all gonna have to lower this. This is bad. Look at this shit. Look, they want $250 for this section, $900 for right here. Come on, $2,300, bro. This is crazy.
She spoke about her role in the paint on both ends of the floor, calling for the ball, converting efficiently around the rim, and anchoring the post defensively. Her message centered on attention to detail as the foundation of any meaningful improvement this season. Observers have noted that Boston's usage during the Nigeria game was limited, and many feel the team needs to make better use of her abilities while also keeping her out of foul trouble, which has been a recurring issue. A lighter moment during the media session came when a reporter asked about Caitlin Clark wearing a leg sleeve during practice.
$100, bro. This is crazy. The Indiana Fever front office is in a heap of trouble. I just got to be honest, man. And I think the fans is speaking with their wallets. It's clear as day. The fans is letting it be known. They ain't standing for the buffoonery. Now, I can't even lie. I can't be nothing but happy for them, man. At this point, at this point. Now, moving on to another story. Today is another National Media Day for the Indiana.
White dismissed any concern immediately, describing it as a fashion choice and drawing laughter from those in the room. Chelsea Gray was also part of the session and reflected on how much the league has changed over the course of her career. She recalled sharing hotel rooms with teammates, driving long distances for appearances, and flying commercially like any regular traveler. She described embracing those early experiences as part of what shaped her, while expressing genuine appreciation for how far the league has come in terms of resources, exposure, and overall standing.
To another story, today is another National Media Day for the Indiana Fever. And Stephanie White spoke to the media today because it was mandatory that she speak with the media. And we're going to check out some of what she had to say. And she gave us an update on Mo Billings' current situation. It was about a 10-minute conversation. And let's check it out, man. Let's check it out real quick. Get this blown up Sky act.
White was asked to reflect on the WNBA entering its 30th season, particularly in light of periods when the league struggled with public perception and business challenges. She acknowledged that public opinion is something no organization can fully control and redirected focus toward the evolution of the game itself, the elevated skill level of the athletes, the growing recognition among casual audiences that these are the best players in the world at what they do, and the shift from grassroots outreach, where teams were driving vans and asking people to show up to appearances, to a landscape where players are now flying internationally for high-profile engagements. She emphasized that despite that growth, the league has retained its community-focused mentality and its close connection with fans, something she described as a defining characteristic of women's sports and the WNBA specifically. The WNBA roster deadline has arrived, and what has unfolded in the past few hours is nothing short of significant.
By Dallas. Amy Okonkwo is a 6'2", 3-ish forward. And she's big, she's strong, she rebounds, and she shoots. Last season, she only played 8 games for the Wings, and it was her first stint in the W. She averaged 11 points per game. Did it on 50% shooting from the field, 90% from the line, and 33% from 3. The thing with
Multiple talented players have been released, and these are not marginal names. These are genuinely capable athletes who deserve spots on active rosters. 3 power forwards have been let go in a short window of time, and the Indiana Fever would be making a serious mistake by ignoring all of them. Amy Aono was waived by the Dallas Wings. Standing at 6'2", she operates as a forward who brings size, physical strength, rebounding, and a reliable shooting touch.
The thing with Amy Okonkwo is that she is an offensive big, and one positive thing with her is that you have her on a minimum contract for 3 seasons. She's only played 1 year, you have her reserved rights. Not only that, in preseason she had 8 points against the Aces a couple of days ago. She looks good. She was really good against she's been really good for Besiktas. She's been really, really good this year. And
her debut season with the Wings was limited to just 8 games, yet she still put up 11 points per game while hitting 50% of her field goal attempts, 90% from the free throw line, and 33% from beyond the arc. On top of that, the Fever would have her under a minimum contract with retained rights for 3 seasons, given that she has only completed 1 year in the league.
Really, really good this year. And these two are the better options. So, first of all, there's Maddie Westbeld. Maddie Westbeld ended last season by scoring 25 points against the New York Liberty. Maddie Westbeld is a 6'3.5" stretch 4 who can shoot the ball pretty well, is a mediocre rebounder, and is I'll say, below average defender. She is, can you imagine Demiris Dantas, but doesn't have that once in a season?
She closed out last season by putting up 25 points against the New York Liberty. At 6'3.5", she is a stretch 4 with a solid shooting touch, though her rebounding sits around average and her defense is below standard. Think of her as a version of Derica Hamby, just without the rare single-game explosiveness from 3, but more consistent across everything else. She is under a minimum contract for 3 more seasons.
Doesn't have that once in a season ability to go 4 or 5 from 3, and Dantas might have already used her once in a season, but better at every other aspect of basketball. And on a minimum contract for 3 more years. On a minimum for 3 more years. Let's not forget that. You don't have to pay her for another 3 seasons. Not only that, she is somebody that has played with Caitlin Clark on Team USA teams, as far as I'm aware. She also was
in the 2024 draft cycle, she was projected to go 8th overall before she chose a super senior year. Her stint in Chicago did not provide many minutes, but the minutes she did get looked sharp. Size, shooting, and defensive upside are all present. Her sister Kat Westbelt was a starter in last year's finals with Phoenix, which hints at the family ceiling.
Was in 2024 projected, or initially, say in 2025, she went back for a super senior season. She would have been the 8th pick in the 2024 draft. She would have went where Lisa Petey went. In a weird situation in Chicago where didn't get many minutes, but looked real good in the minutes she got. For a rookie who didn't play minutes, she looked good in the minutes she got. And again, size, shooting, and projects to be a passable defender. If nothing else,
the Mercury may well pursue her, which could make this a fast decision. The third name, and arguably the most important, is Koulibaly. Coming back from a torn ACL, she spent all of last season studying film intensively, absorbing everything about what Tyler Marsh was building and how to contribute within that framework. Watching her against Atlanta made it clear that she belongs in this league.
Projects to be a passable defender. If nothing else, she projects to at least become her sister. And Kat Westbell was a starter for the Mercury in the finals last year. She was a starter in the finals. That being said, I think it'll be hard for the Fever to win her, because I think the Mercury are probably like, great, we'll just replace a Westbelt with a Westbelt. But this is the player. This is the player. Aicha Koulibaly. Now, this reminds me, I've said this.
The skill set is not about breaking defenders off the dribble, it is about the fundamentals. She can slot into the 3 or the 4, she plays with maximum effort, and she makes smart decisions. A floor comparison puts her around a 6 out of 10 type contributor, and her offensive upside remains uncertain, but Indiana's offense is already strong enough to carry that. What the Fever genuinely lack is interior defense beyond Aaliyah Boston, and more importantly, they have no true 3 to 4 wing player, which is exactly what Bali provides.
This reminds me, I've said this tons of times. When the Dallas Wings last year were playing, I was watching them play when they were losing every game. And I was watching them like, obviously Paige was good. The next best player on the team, I'm like, man, Kayla Charles has something about her. She just has something about her. She plays hard, she's smart, she does all the little things. I'm like, she's good, she's real good. And I was like, pushing, I was like, man, she should be starting over Dijonay. And then out of nowhere, she gets cut.
If Bali clears waivers and ends up on a developmental deal with Chicago, while Indiana keeps Damiris Dantas, Story Walker-Kimbrough, and KK Timpson ahead of her on the depth chart, that outcome reflects poor roster management. There is a logical argument to stick with Dantas over Westbelt if the belief is that her occasional long-range shooting holds. There is a case against Aono if interior defense is the only concern. Those are debatable positions.
And it's like, what the fuck's going on here? People are like, oh no, they're going to cut her because they're going to bring her back. And suddenly, Golden State snap her up. Golden State snap her up. And now suddenly Kayla Charles is making $600K a year at Golden State. She's been so effective. I think she might have been UFA. She's been so effective. And that's the way I feel about Koulibaly. Koulibaly is coming back from her ACL tear. You hear in commentary, she spent the whole of last season watching meticulously.
There is no reasonable case to be made for passing on Bali. She would be more effective than Walker-Kimbrough across nearly every relevant area except shot blocking. She would outperform Timpson. She would outperform Demaris Sanders.